Coach DeBoer adding to his staff someone that can help with recruiting and the transfer portal. We're going to talk about the new coach, and how about Jalen Milroe, a football camp in Tuscaloosa, and talks about playing for DeBoer and also what it was like playing under Coach Saban. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, guys. That's a way of saying roll tide, and let's get this thing started. What do you say, everybody? Hope you had a great weekend with Big Elmo, who's getting some fan mail now on the channel. Brett Elmore. I'm Mick Gillispie at Brett Elmore Show, part of WJLX in Jasper, Alabama. I'm Mick Gillispie, obviously, at Broadcaster Mick. But, man, great weekend of football. And for Alabama, Coach DeBoer out doing his recruiting. And, Brett, now he's going to get a little bit of help.
Yeah, the word is they're getting they're going to make another addition to the staff. And someone asked about this over the weekend. Is the staff complete in the comments section? Well, there's another name being added, and that is the director of football scouting from NC State. It is Jatavis Sanders, and he's been in that role there at NC State for a couple of years. You may be familiar with his name. He was the quarterback there at NC State, and he returned to his alma mater back in 2022 to take on that role. And Mick, this is a pretty good hire when you look at his credentials and what he's been able to do since he's been at NC State at such a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. He helped them compile their second highest ranked recruiting class. It's 2008, which is a big deal. I mean, what is it, 2024 now? Yeah. 2028 seems like yesterday to me. I don't know about you, but yeah, his second highest rated class. I think they had an all freshman of the year last year that he helped recruit. So pretty good hire.
Yeah, and the transfer portal is another area where he's had a lot of success, and that's something that Alabama really is going to have to dig into. You know, Nick Saban lost way more guys than he brought in on the transfer portal. And part of that was that guys knew, hey, we got an opportunity here. I mean, just think about the football games yesterday. Alabama players all over the place. And the players felt like, hey, I might not get as much money in NIL, but I'm going to be here with Coach Saban, and that's going to help me get to the NFL. You know, you saw some of the best players on the team leave when Coach Saban retired. A lot of them stayed, though, and we're going to talk about one of those guys coming up. But Alabama is going to have to attack that transfer portal a lot more now, it feels like, under Coach DeBoer, which he's had a lot of success there. And Coach Sanders is going to be one of those guys to kind of head all of that up. He'll be the coordinator of that, from what I understand. And he's had his success at NC State. It'll be a lot easier recruiting to Alabama for sure.
Well, during the offseason, this will just kind of give you an indication, Mick, on how he's done in that transfer portal. He has 5 transfers, all in the top 20 in their respective positions, coming into NC State. So he has really attacked that transfer portal. So he's a guy that knows what he's doing, and now he'll be doing it in Tuscaloosa, and we welcome that.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, one guy that didn't transfer, and you didn't know what would happen when Coach Saban retired, was this guy. Jalen Milroe had his football camp over the weekend at Hillcrest. Part of allowing an NIL is to allow players to do stuff like this, to have a football camp where, you know, they can bring kids in to learn football, and they obviously, would charge money, and baseball's done it for years. And he talked about his football camp going as a kid to Michael Vick's camp, And he's a guy that kind of reminds me of a bigger version of Michael Vick, his ability to run the football and throw it deep. But he got that done, and I'm sure the kids had a great time. And, and he talked about Coach Saban, and he also talked about Coach DeBoer.
Yeah, he did. And Mick, I think yesterday on the show, we kind of got in on the NIL a little bit, and I talked about how much I didn't like that. This is one part that I do like about the NIL, is allowing someone like Jalen Milroe to go out and positively affect children, all while making a little bit of money doing it, as a camp. I really think this is cool. And I think that shows a lot about Milroe's character, to be perfectly honest with you. Going out, spending a day with these kids. And, yeah, he talked about playing for Coach Saban, and then he got into Coach DeBoer and pretty much told the kids, as far as when they were asking, maybe if he thought about transferring or enter the portal or whatever, he said that, quote, for me, it's to stay at Alabama. For others, it may not be. I signed my letter of intent to come to the University of Alabama, so it's all about staying here and building, end quote.
Yeah.
So that was not an option for him. That wasn't even in his mind. He wanted to stay at the university and continue to build what they've started.
Yeah. I love the video when Coach DeBoer was introduced to the team, and Milroe was one of the you saw him come up and give Coach DeBoer a hug, and you could see that genuine happiness on his face. I'm sure he's really excited about working with Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator, and Coach DeBoer. I mean, on this side of the football, it's going to be a big step up for Alabama. We had great offensive coordinators with Coach Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian and Mike Loxley. And I feel like Tommy Rees was moving in that direction. I mean, he had a great year. It felt like it was, to me, a lot better than Bill O'Brien at offensive coordinator. But at the same time, these guys are there. They're the top as far as working in wide receivers and having success. And so he's excited about getting that opportunity. And I'm sure that he's behind the scenes working on keeping as many of his teammates around as possible. But you said something, and I want to talk about this too. NIL was about this. This is what NIL is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be Caleb Downs getting paid $600,000 to $1 million to transfer. It's supposed to be about you, just like he's done, where he came up with his own brand, Lank, sold it, has gone out and marketed it. He's doing his own football camps. He's out there working with kids. People are signing up. It just seems like you can forget about what Jalen Milroe does or doesn't do on the football field. Off the football field, it always feels like this guy is a great decision maker, came from an excellent family, is an awesome role model. Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. And you see him there on the screen, high-fiving the kids. And, yeah, that's what the NIL was all about. I mean, when it very first in that infancy, remember there was players that may have gotten a little bit of money to be like, hey, I'm Brett Elmore, and I drink Milo sweet tea, and they gave just a little bit of money, And, no, this is not what it's all about. Now, the camp, I love that. I mean, number one, yeah, he's making a little bit of money. I don't know how much it costs to go to the camp, but I know it probably wasn't a ton of money. And two, he's making an impact in his community. This was at Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa. So he was able to, leave his apartment or whatever, go down the street to Hillcrest, have a good time at camp, wasn't doing anything else, and have a good time and make a little bit of money. And, yeah, I mean, I don't blame him a bit, but yeah, you go back to Coach DeBoer. If I was taking over the program at Alabama and I had the quarterback come up to me who finished sixth in the Heisman race, come up and give me a big old hug, that'd make me feel a whole lot better about my decision to come.
Yeah, $150, and it's the football camp was ages 6 to 18. And I'm sure that he'll be doing another one sometime soon. But congratulations to him. Honestly, watching him get out and work hard for the NIL really makes me proud, because I just feel like that's what when you have an opportunity like this, that's name, image, and likeness to me. But also, look, Brett, I'm going to tell you, if Milo's wanted him to hold a Milo's tee, that to me is name, image, and likeness. It's not paying Caleb Downs $1 million to transfer, right? And I'm just curious to see what Caleb Downs is doing over there for his NIL besides playing football. Right. You think he's doing a camp? You think he's got his own brand of clothing, his own, and I'm just picking on him. This is a whole world of what's going on in college athletics, but Jalen Milroe is certainly doing things the right way. Well, we got a really fun week coming up. We're going to recap what Coach Saban is doing in his personal life. I mean, we saw him on a surfboard the other day. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about anything that Coach DeBoer is doing out in the recruiting trail. And honestly, I hope we see some more Coach Saban. I mean, I kind of miss him, but not in the football coaching way. I miss him in the press conference type way, being a little agitated at someone for something. This would be the time of year where he'd have a comment or two about, how messed up NIL is, when you're watching guys from other schools transfer out, or the NFL, with all these Alabama players in the Super Bowl. But Brett, thanks for hanging out with us. And guys, I want to remind you.
Before we leave, though, my segment's brought to you by Red Solo Cup. Red Solo Cup is a proud supporter of Big Elmo and the Bama Tailgate Day. I'm sorry.
That's what's in that Red Solo Cup that matters.
Oh, boy. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, but it really is brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Choctaw, Philadelphia, Mississippi, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours from Jasper and Birmingham, or around that anyway. Golden Moon Casino hosts the Timeout Sports Lounge. And so you can bet on the Super Bowl there. You can lay wagers on college basketball. Bama's played some good ball lately, including that nice win over LSU, but finding themselves after getting beat up physically and on the scoreboard against Tennessee. You can lay down on that. The NBA, NHL, NASCAR, all that stuff over there. It's a lot of fun as well. If you play golf, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course is the Augusta that you can play. And don't forget table games and slots, all of that stuff. So you need to get away. Check out for yourself Pearl River Resort. And don't forget some big concerts coming up and comedy acts with Ron White. He'll be there from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Then you got the Wallflowers, which I know you're a fan of, Dylan's son. Yeah. And who else, Brad? I know you got a couple on your tongue.
KC of the Sunshine Band.
Yes.
Also, Brian McKnight will be there, and you can get all of the information about the events and everything else. Lay down your money on the Super Bowl, too. That's going to be big. PearlRiverResort.com.
All right. Thanks. For Brett Elmore, I'm Mick Gillispie. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Roll Tide.